I did not pull the trigger. I did not plant the evidence. I did not even raise my voice. All I did was answer the phone. And with that one simple act, I watched a man's 20-year career burn to ashes. They say revenge is a dish best served cold. But in my case, it was served digitally. One ring at a time. Let me take you back to 2004. I am Elena, 18 years old. Back then, I was invisible. Just a scholarship kid trying to survive college without drowning in debt. While other kids were driving cars their parents bought them, I was commuting 2 hours a day on a bus that smelled like stale coffee and regret. I was the quiet girl in the front row, the one who believed that if you followed the rules, the system would protect you. I was wrong. That winter, I won a district academic award. $300. To me, that was a fortune. It was my ticket to the modern world. I walked into a pawn shop and bought it. My first phone, a Sony Ericsson K300i. It was bulky, it was basic, but it was mine. With the leftover cash, I bought a premium SIM card from the clearance bin. The clerk told me it was a lucky number. He lied. It took exactly 72 hours for the nightmare to begin. I was studying for finals when the first call came. "Is this Bennett?" a rough voice barked. No greeting, just a demand. "Wrong number," I whispered and hung up. An hour later, another call, a different voice, same demand. "We are looking for Bennett Sterling. He is 90 days past due on his payment." I blocked the number. The next day, 3 more calls, different area codes, different banks. But they all wanted the same man, Bennett Sterling. And I realized then that my new number wasn't new at all. It was recycled. It belonged to a ghost, a financial predator who had borrowed money from every institution in the state and then vanished. For the next 5 years, Bennett Sterling became the third person in my relationship with my phone. I couldn't afford to change the number, so I developed a routine. Every time a stranger called demanding money, I would say, "I am not him," and I would add the number to my block list. Blocking became my daily ritual. Just another chore, like brushing my teeth or paying rent. I told myself, one day I will be successful enough to make this noise stop. I didn't know it yet, but the universe was setting a trap. Fast forward to 2010. The economy had crashed. Jobs were scarce. I was lucky to land a junior analyst position at a massive tech consulting firm. I was assigned to a team known internally as the meat grinder. And the butcher in charge? We called him Mr. B. Mr. B was a monster in a 3-piece suit. He didn't just want you to work, he wanted you to suffer. He believed that if you weren't stressed, you weren't productive. He ruled by fear. If you left the office at 6 p.m., he would ask if you were working part-time. If you sent a report at midnight, he would reply at 2 a.m. with a correction on the font size. Just to prove he was awake. Just to prove he owned you. I remember one specific Tuesday. I had been working for 14 days straight, no weekends. I was running on caffeine and anxiety. I submitted the quarterly analysis. It was flawless. Mr. B called a team meeting. He projected my report on the big screen. "Look at this," he sneered, pointing a laser pointer at page 12. "Look at the alignment. Is that centered, or is it 1 pixel off to the left?" "It is centered, sir," I said, my voice shaking. "It looks sloppy," he announced to the room. "Elena, this is amateur work. If you cannot handle basic formatting, how can I trust you with client data?" He made me redo the entire 100-page report, manually. He took credit for every win. But when a deadline was missed because he changed the requirements, he threw us under the bus. I hated him. We all did. But in 2010, you didn't quit a job. You endured. So I drank my coffee, I took the abuse, and every night, I went home and blocked 3 more calls looking for the ghost named Bennett Sterling. I felt trapped, suffocated by 2 men, one who stole my peace at work and one who stole my peace at home. 2 years passed. In 2012, our company merged with a parent corporation. We got a new email system, Outlook. For the first time, we had access to the global organizational hierarchy. It was a late Thursday night. The office was empty. I opened the directory. I wanted to see Mr. B's profile. I wanted to see who his boss was, dreaming of the day I could report him. I typed in his last name. There he was. Title, Senior Project Director. But his display name wasn't Mr. B. It was his full legal name, Bennett Sterling. I froze. Bennett Sterling? It's a common name, right? There must be thousands of them. But then I looked at his bio. Hometown, Oak Creek, District 4. High school class of 1988. My hand instinctively went to my pocket, to my phone, District 4. And that was where I bought my phone 8 years ago. That was where the calls started. My heart hammered against my ribs. I pulled out my phone. I scrolled through the blocked numbers list. Hundreds of them. Banks, collection agencies, private investigators. I looked up at the glass office where Mr. B, where Bennett sat. He was the ghost. The man who made my work life a living hell was the same man who had been haunting my phone for 8 years. He wasn't just a bad manager, he was a fraud. He was driving a luxury car while evading $200,000 in debt. And the best part? He had been using his old phone number, my phone number, on every loan application. He was using me as a shield. He thought he was untouchable. He thought I was just a quiet, obedient employee named Elena. I looked at my phone. I looked at the Unblock button. A cold smile spread across my face. The game was about to change. I pressed the button, and then I waited. It didn't take long. The digital floodgates opened. 10 minutes later, the phone buzzed. Unknown caller. Usually, this would be the moment my stomach tightened. The moment I would hit decline and go back to my miserable work. But not today. Today, I picked up. "Is this Bennett Sterling?" the voice asked. It was a collection agency. I could hear the hum of a call center in the background. "No," I said, my voice smooth as silk. "But I am his assistant. Mr. Sterling has been trying to reach you regarding this matter. He is very concerned about clearing this debt." The collector paused. They weren't used to cooperation. Usually, people screamed or hung up. "Oh, well, we have been trying to reach him for—" "I know," I interrupted. "He has been having trouble with his personal line. He asked me to update his contact information in your system. He wants to make sure you can reach him directly at his office. Do you have a pen?" I didn't just give them his office number. I opened my laptop. I pulled up the company directory. I gave them his direct desk line. I gave them his corporate cell phone number. And then for the alternate contact, in case he was unavailable, I gave them the direct line of the regional vice president, his boss. "Please," I added, adding a touch of urgency to my voice, "call him immediately. He is expecting you." I hung up. Then the next call came. A payday loan shark from Nevada. I gave them the same script. Then a credit card company from Delaware. Same script. For 8 years I had been the dam holding back the water. Now I was the pipe. And I was pointing the nozzle straight at Bennett's glass office. Monday morning. The meat grinder was in full swing. Mr. B. Bennett was in a foul mood. He had just yelled at the interns for buying the wrong brand of sparkling water. He marched into his office and slammed the door. I watched from my cubicle, peering over the top of my monitor. His desk phone rang. He picked it up, expecting a client or a superior. I saw his expression change, from arrogance to confusion, then to annoyance. He slammed the receiver down. 2 minutes later, it rang again. He answered. He listened for 5 seconds. He slammed it down harder. 10 minutes later, his cell phone rang. He looked at the screen. He frowned. He answered. "Who is this?" I could hear his voice muffled through the glass. "No, I do not owe. Stop calling me." I took a sip of my lukewarm office coffee. It tasted like victory. By Wednesday, the cracks were starting to show. Bennett was twitchy. He was checking his phone constantly. But the real show began during the weekly all-hands meeting. This was the most important meeting of the month. The regional vice president, the big boss, was dialed in via video conference from New York. Bennett was presenting the quarterly projections. He was in his element, using big words, taking credit for my team's work. "As you can see," Bennett said, gesturing grandly, "efficiency is up by 15% due to my rigorous management style. Suddenly, the receptionist burst into the room. She looked terrified. She was holding a sticky note. "Excuse me, Mr. Sterling," she whispered. But in the silent room, it sounded like a scream. "Not now, Jessica," Bennett snapped. "Can't you see I am presenting?" "I'm sorry." Sir," she stammered, her face red. "But there is a man on line 1. He says he is from Titan Asset Recovery. He says he is going to send a sheriff to the lobby if you don't authorize the payment for the boat." The room went dead silent. "The boat?" someone whispered. Bennett turned pale. He looked like a deer in the headlights of a semi-truck. That is a scam call," he shouted, his voice cracking. "Tell them to hang up. It is spam." But the damage was done. The vice president on the screen cleared his throat. "Bennett," the VP's voice boomed through the speakers. "Why are debt collectors calling the main reception line? Is everything all right with your compliance?" "It is a mistake, sir," Bennett sweated. "Identity theft. I am handling it." I looked down at my notebook to hide my smile. Identity theft. Funny choice of words. Considering he had been stealing my peace of mind for a decade, I ramped up the pressure. I went back through my call logs. I found the whales, the most aggressive collectors. The ones who threatened legal action. I called them back. "Mr. Sterling is very embarrassed about this situation," I told them. "He is trying to hide it from his wife. If you want to get his attention, you need to be persistent. Call him every 30 minutes, use different numbers." And they did. Bennett's life became a ringing hell. He stopped yelling at us about font sizes. He was too busy yelling at strangers on his phone. He started closing his blinds. He started jumping every time a phone rang, even if it wasn't his. The paranoia set in. He knew someone had given them his direct line. He knew someone had leaked his new contact info. He started pacing the aisles, looking at us, looking for the traitor. "Who gave out my number?" he screamed one afternoon. "Which one of you idiots gave my number to the spam lists?" Everyone looked down, terrified. Except me. I looked him right in the eye, and I asked, with genuine concern, "Is everything okay, Mr. Sterling? You seem stressed? Maybe you should take a half day?" He looked at me. For a second, I thought he knew. But he just sneered. "Get back to work, Elena." He had no idea. He saw me as a tool, a piece of furniture. He didn't realize that the furniture was dismantling his house, screw by screw. Friday came. The finale of my little opera. Remember I said I gave the collectors an alternate contact? The vice president's number? Well, apparently Titan Asset Recovery was very thorough. When Bennett stopped answering his phone, they called the alternate. I wasn't in the room when it happened, but news travels fast in a toxic office. Apparently the VP was in a golf tournament with key investors when his phone rang. He answered thinking it was a client. Instead, he got an earful from a guy named Vinny, demanding to know why Bennett Sterling was hiding from his obligations. Vinny allegedly told the VP to tell his boy Bennett to pay up or we are coming for the car too. At 2 p.m., the email went out. "Bennett Sterling, please report to the Human Resources Director's office immediately." I watched him walk past my desk. He looked defeated. His shoulders were slumped. His perfect suit looked rumpled. He wasn't the tyrant anymore. He was just a man drowning in a sea of his own making. He walked into the HR office. The door closed. And then, the blinds were pulled shut. I sat there, and typing my weekly report. Font, Arial, size, 11, perfectly aligned. I felt a sense of calm I hadn't felt in years. But I knew it wasn't over yet. Getting him fired was one thing, but I wanted to make sure he could never, ever do this to anyone else again. I picked up my phone. I had one more number to unblock. The IRS tax fraud hotline. I did not call the IRS directly. I didn't have to. I just opened the door and let them in. For years, a specific number from Washington, D.C. had been calling my phone, once a month, like clockwork. I had always blocked it, assuming it was just another scam. But after seeing Bennett's financial records, I realized it wasn't a scam. It was an audit, a federal investigation that had gone cold because they couldn't find him. I unblocked the number on Friday morning. At 2:30 p.m., the phone rang. I didn't answer. Instead, I used the office transfer function. I forwarded the call directly to the conference room where Bennett was currently begging for his job with human resources. I like to think of it as my letter of recommendation. The meeting lasted 45 minutes. To the rest of the office, it felt like 45 years. The silence was heavy, suffocating. Then the door opened. Usually when someone gets fired, they leave quietly out the back, but not today. 2 security guards in uniform were waiting, and between them walked Bennett Sterling. He looked small. The tyrant who screamed about font sizes and margins was gone. In his place was a man who had been stripped of his armor. He was holding a cardboard box. Inside I could see a stapler, a photo frame, and that stupid world's best boss mug he bought for himself. He walked past the rows of cubicles, the walk of shame. He didn't look at us. He stared at the gray carpet. But I looked at him. I wanted him to see me. I wanted him to see the incompetent employee who followed the rules. As he passed my desk, he paused. Just for a second. His eyes flicked to my phone sitting on the desk. But the blue light was blinking. He knew. In that moment, the realization hit him like a freight train. It wasn't bad luck. It wasn't a coincidence. It was me. He opened his mouth to say something, to scream, to beg. "Keep moving, sir," the security guard said, placing a hand on his shoulder. Bennett closed his mouth, and he walked out of the glass doors for the last time. The rumors started before the elevator doors even closed. "Did you hear?" Jessica from reception whispered, her eyes wide. It wasn't just credit cards. It turned out the call I forwarded wasn't just a debt collector, it was a federal investigator. Bennett hadn't just borrowed money he couldn't pay back. He had been cooking the books on his personal taxes for a decade. He was claiming expenses for businesses that didn't exist. He was using our company's client accounts to hide assets. 2 hours later, 2 men in dark suits and sunglasses walked into the lobby. They weren't security. They were federal agents. They went straight to the IT department. They seized Bennett's hard drive. They seized his emails. The emails where he abused us. The emails where he admitted to fraud. And the emails where he unknowingly confirmed his identity to the very creditors I had sent his way. I sat at my desk, sipping my tea. My screen showed a blank Excel spreadsheet. But in my mind, the numbers finally balanced. Debit, 1 toxic manager. Credit, justice. The fallout was swift. The company wanted to distance themselves from the scandal. They fired the regional vice president for lack of oversight. They restructured the department, and they needed someone to clean up Bennett's mess, someone who knew the data inside and out, someone who was meticulous. 3 weeks later, I was called into the director's office. I expected to be let go, guilt by association. Instead, the director slid a contract across the table. "Elena," she said, "we looked at the logs. You were the only one actually doing the work while Bennett was playing games. We want you to lead the team." I looked at the contract. The salary was double what I was making. "I have one condition," I said. "Name it," she replied. "I need a company phone," I said. "A new one, with a fresh number." That evening I drove to the old bridge on the edge of town. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of bruised purple and angry red. I looked at my old phone, the Sony Ericsson. It was battered, scratched. It had been my tormentor, but it had also been my weapon. I navigated to the settings one last time. Factory reset. Are you sure? All data will be erased. I pressed yes. The screen went black. The ghost of Bennett Sterling was gone. I didn't throw the phone into the river. That would be dramatic, and I am a practical woman. Instead, I dropped it into the electronic recycling bin on my way home. Bennett is currently awaiting trial. I hear the cell service in federal prison is terrible. As for me, I learned a valuable lesson. In the corporate world, they tell you to be loud, to be aggressive, to be a shark. But they forget about the quiet ones, the ones who listen, the ones who take notes, The ones who know that sometimes you don't need to fight fire with fire. Sometimes you just need to unblock a number, sit back, and let the phone ring.